Welcome. This is a video in my Canning FAQ, Frequently Asked Question video series, where I am trying to answer your questions and promote safe canning. Now, I don't know about you, but it's happened to me. Have you ever canned, taken off the lid, looked inside, and go, oh, why is that liquid not clear? And then as you're pulling out your jars, you notice that the liquid no longer goes to, let's say, your 1-inch headspace. You've lost liquid in your jars, and that's called siphoning, or I always call it leakage. But we're going to discuss today why that happens and when you should be concerned when it happens. Now, siphoning, or leakage as I call it, just means that you've had loss of liquid in your jar. I found that it rarely happens when water bath canning. I understand people who can dry beans. It can happen because the beans absorb the liquid. But if you rehydrate the beans first, this usually doesn't happen. But it can happen in pressure canning. Now, according to the National Food Preservation Center, it can happen for the following reasons. Not leaving enough headspace. You know, if it says 1 inch, make sure you got 1 inch, not a 1/2 inch. Not maintaining a constant temperature when you're processing on your stovetop. Don't be taking your burner gauge and changing it. You know, you want a little bit, oops, that gauge going too high. Keep turning it down and keep doing that. I mean, you can do it a couple times, very slightly, but you really don't want to be doing that much. It needs to have a constant temperature. The other thing is, did you debubble or did you forget to debubble? Because if you did, very often there is air in your jar, and that air escapes during the processing and can cause liquid to escape too. So those are the main reasons. Oh, I should mention too, if for some reason you weren't following your water bath canning instructions and didn't have 1 or 2 inches above whatever it specifies of water above your jars, then that could cause the problem too. But always follow those recommendations. Now, I wanted to show you something. Yesterday I canned raw packed chicken. Okay? So this one, let me get closer here. Okay, this one, can you see the liquid's right up there? This one, the liquid's down there. Okay. What made the difference? Now, these were both canned in the same setting, pressure canner. They both had 1 inch headspace. Well, my thought is maybe I packed my meat a little too firmly and had that meat generates the liquid, because I don't put any liquid when I'm raw packing, and maybe it generated more liquid than the jar could hold, and when that escapes, then more escapes. Or maybe there was more air in between the meat chunks, and that caused it to happen. But the honest truth is, I don't know why. You can do everything correctly, and sometimes you just experience siphoning. Now, since I followed the National Food Preservation recommendation to, when I take off the weight, wait 10 minutes before I actually take off the lid, that seems to help, and I have less siphoning when raw packing. But the honest truth is, you can do everything right, and you can still have siphoning. So when should you be worried? Well, according to the National Food Preservation Center, unless it would get down to half, only liquid, half in your jar, you don't have to worry. And that would really be extensive siphoning. In that case, I would say there was something wrong in your process. But as long as it's above 1/2 for liquid, it's fine. But now what can happen? Well, meat above the liquid line can darken because it's not in the liquid. Does that mean it's bad? No, it doesn't. It just means in those cases you might want to put these jars in the front of your pantry and use them first before it darkens. But it doesn't affect the taste. It is fine. Now, what would happen if you had a jar that was less than half full of liquid? Put it in your refrigerator and use the contents in 2 to 3 days. It still won't kill you, right? So practice safe canning methods. And if you lose a little liquid, have siphoning, don't worry. As always, please subscribe, share the knowledge, and thank you so much for watching. Happy canning!